right, so like you said, Canelo versus BJ Saunders. I won't speak much on Canelo because we just talked about Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. fight, but I thought that was a good fight to face before you fought Triple G, because you want to fight somebody who's big, who like, you know, regardless of what you think about Julio Cesar Chavez, he still can punch. He's still heavy-handed. So you can see how that feels and go against somebody like that who's pretty physically strong, big, and things like that, which will prep you for Triple G. Not that he's the same fighter, you know what I mean? But it's something that's going to give you, you know, some clues and ideas of what you may deal with when you're facing somebody as strong as Triple G. And I think he's doing that. You know, he has a game plan set up for when he faces the caliber fighter that Caleb Plant is and what he brings to the table. So I like that on that end. As far as Billy Joe Saunders, he's 30, with 14 KOs. He's 31 years old, out of the UK, 5'11". And so to me, some of his biggest victories were the Eubank win that he had, that he got a split decision a couple years ago or several years ago. And then also the Lemieux fight. He looked really good in the Lemieux fight, to be honest with you. He showed a good jab. Then also in that Lemieux fight, what I was impressed with was that he had, like, his cardio was up throughout the whole fight. You know, he was making Lemieux miss. He never got fatigued in that fight from what I remember. But it's some suspicion in there, you know, about he looked so well and so conditioned in that fight. And then later on, he ended up having to vacate his 160-pound title because he failed, you know, drug tests. And I think he was supposed to fight Demetrius Andrade at the time. And so when I look at this fight, if I break it down, based on what I've seen from Saunders in his last fight and Canelo in his last fight, I have to go with Canelo. You know, like I say, Martin Murray was the fighter that Saunders recently faced, and he started huffing and puffing after like round 6 and round 7. You know what I mean? It could have even been before that. That's when I remember. I was like, dang, he looks tired and fatigued. Even though he was winning the rounds against Murray, Murray's just old now. You know what I mean? But Canelo's, to me, man, right now, Canelo's at the height of his powers, right? And so, and Saunders is fighting Martin Murray, he's huffing and puffing. I think that Saunders, I can't see Saunders lasting 12 rounds against Canelo. And so my prediction would be Canelo by either late round stoppage or, no, it'd be mid to late round stoppage. I don't see this going a distance, because once Billy Joe started getting tired, then it's going to be a wrap.
You know, when I watched the Martin Murray fight initially, I graded him on a curve of how does Billy Joe Saunders look, and he looked fine. He did what he had to do against the older Martin Murray. He didn't look super impressive, but he looked fine. But when I looked at it, like, when I revisit and look at it, like, this is supposed to be his last fight before facing Canelo Alvarez. Like you said, he looked fine, but, you know, there are obviously grave concerns that I had for him going into a Canelo fight. The most impressive one I've seen from him was the David Lemieux fight in 2017 at middleweight. But I also thought Lemieux was kind of overhyped by then and a little bit more of a gatekeeper at middleweight. The benefit for Canelo here is that Saunders has a belt. So if Canelo's aim is to unify super middleweight, I definitely think this fight will get him one step closer. I think it just levels to it. And I don't think he's faced a Canelo before. If anything, I mean, I think Canelo may look to make a statement fight here. Because, you know, you have Canelo, the version of Canelo that faced guys like Caleb Smith, where it's like he doesn't come in making a whole lot of noise before the fight. It's just two guys being respectful, looking to have a good scrap. But Billy Joe Saunders could be outright disrespectful towards his opponents and in general. And so Canelo might come in with a statement of, let me take this guy's belt and shut him up. So I can see a stoppage happening here, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you guys made some great points. Even though Billy Joe Saunders, you know, is a undefeated title holder, I think it's more a ploy for Canelo to unify the titles and taking Saunders' belt. So how I see this fight going, based on what I see from Saunders, especially in his last fight, Canelo's last fight, Billy Joe Saunders has no chance. This fight is about an 8th round stoppage. It's another Callum Smith. And to be honest, I think Callum Smith might even be better than Billy Joe Saunders. But that's the way I see it in the story.
Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Peace.